with the youngest, most daring, intrepid, gutsy, fearless host on the planet. Get ready for Jake's Takes. Here's Jake.
Welcome back! I am Jake, and this is Jake's Takes, where I get your favorite athletes and stars to open up and speak what's really on their minds. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you won't believe the guests I have lined up. Today's guest played 14 seasons in the NHL. He played his junior hockey for the Portland Winter Hawks of the Western Hockey League. He was then drafted by the Vancouver Canucks, 42nd overall in the 1994 NHL entry draft. He made his NHL debut in the 97 season, establishing himself as a two-way forward. During his third season in Vancouver, the Canucks traded him to the New York Islanders for goaltender Felix Potvin. He played 4.5 seasons with the Islanders, recording two 45-point campaigns in 2000 and 2002. Following the NHL lockout, he signed with the Boston Bruins. Over his career, he delivered when it counted most, recording hat-tricks in 2 playoff games for the Islanders. His career on the ice was cut short due to concussions. After years of therapy, he hired a life coach and embraced a new way of thinking that transformed his life. Today, he's the CEO and founder of All-Star Coaching and an author too, with the recent release of his best-selling book. It's my absolute honor to welcome to Jake's Takes, the brave, outspoken leader, Dave Scatchard! What's up, Dave? How you doing?
What's shaking, Jake? Happy to be here, buddy. Ready to crush it with you. Anything you want, any questions you got, you lay them to me and we'll knock them out of the park. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I'm so pumped. How's the family?
Family's good, man. Family's good. How's your family doing? How's your dad doing?
We're all doing pretty good. Thank God.
Well, congratulations on winning your tournament. I know you lost your voice a little bit, but I think you sound even tougher than normal, so it's perfect.
Thanks. Where are you living these days?
I'm living down in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my 3 kids are they're 11, 12, and 14. My 2 boys play hockey. I coach the youth hockey team that they're on. And, we have fun with it, for sure.
Wow, that's sick. So you guys are living exactly where, where Matthews was born.
Yeah, man. He's, I've got to meet him a couple of times. He's, skates out at the ice stand all the time and just an awesome player.
That's awesome. So I got so much to talk to you, including your new best-selling book you authored, which we'll get to soon. But let's start with some hockey and your career. Okay with you?
Sounds great.
So you were drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in the NHL 94 draft. And I believe you grew up in BC, so this was probably a very special opportunity for you. How much did it mean to be drafted by your hometown team, the Canucks? And tell me a bit about that experience.
Yeah, it was very cool. That was my hometown. All my buddies were my age going to university at University of British Columbia. And here I was, this young kid from just a few hours up the road. I was born in Hinton, Alberta, but I grew up, when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15 in Salmon Arm, which is a few hours from Vancouver. So what was neat was I would see people from my hometown in the audience at the Canucks games. Like, it was like nothing changed. And, my town got behind me. I was lucky enough to play with some amazing players there, Mark Messier and Pavel Bure and Alexander McGillney and all these amazing guys. So I learned a lot from them. I wasn't really a highly rated guy coming in. I ended up being drafted 42nd overall in the world, and that kind of surprised me and everybody because, at the start of the year, I wasn't ranked or rated. And then halfway through the year, I was rated 168th in the world. And then I had really bad mononucleosis. And it was really difficult for me I couldn't play the second half of my junior year during my draft year. I was lucky enough to come back with a few games left to go in the season. And I had a great playoffs. I got to play with a guy named Adam Deadmarsh and Lonnie Bohannes. And I just played really physical. I hit and I fought. I had an amazing fitness testing result with my fitness testing. I finished first in the world out of all the guys before the draft. And that kind of helped teams realize that I was a good athlete, and I think helped bump me up into the second round for the draft. So that was really exciting for a young kid from a small town. My dad was originally a coal miner. We grew up in Alberta skating on the lakes. And then when we moved to British Columbia, it was a little different. But yeah, I was just honored to get the chance and realize that, man, my whole dream, my whole life just came true.
Wow, that's so sick. By the way, I want to ask you, just like you just said, you played with amazing players in Vancouver like Bure and McGinley, Messier, Naslund, and so many others. But who was the greatest player you played with in Vancouver?
Well, everybody was different. Mark Messier was a great leader, and I could see his leadership skills. Pavel Bure was just explosive and fast, and he had these really quick moves around the net. He had a really stiff stick. I don't know how he scored so many goals with it, because he had never really raised it like top corner really very often. He'd always beat the goalies low with quick moves. Alexander McGillney, I thought, was, even though he scored 76 goals, I believe, one year, he was underrated, if you can believe that. He was just a smart hockey player, and he was always in the right position, even defensively and stuff. Pavel kind of cheated a little bit offensively, trying to get goals, but Alex was always in the right place. He made great passes. I think he was one of the most underrated players I ever saw. And every once in a while, you get mad and he just rock guys, kind of like Ovechkin sometimes does. You wouldn't think McGillney could hit, but when he did get mad or whatever, he just knocked guys over. He's so strong on his stick, and he's just a really smart player. So, Trevor Linden was a warrior and played hard, but they're all amazing. Nazi was just really good hands, great shot. I've been lucky enough to play with Zdeno Chara. I remember him coming to New York later, and he was really rough around the edges, and he had to practice really hard to get better. And then, he's still playing now. He won the Norris Trophy for the league's best defenseman. So the way that he practiced and played was very intense, because he wanted to get better every game, and ultimately it helped him become one of the best defensemen in the league and win a couple Stanley Cups, I think, too.
By the way, I want to ask you about a current day Vancouver Canucks player, Elias Pettersson. What do you think about Pettersson so far?
I just think he's really unique and special. I think that he is a guy that, just to look at him and his body, and it doesn't look like he should be as strong as he is, but he's very strong on the puck. He's got great balance. He's always in a good position to shoot the puck. He's got an incredible shot. He sees the ice really well. I just think he's a very special player, and I think Vancouver thought he was going to be good. I don't know if they knew he was going to be that good. He's incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, so we're going to talk about Berkey now. Brian Burke is a major personality in the hockey world. He's one busy dude. Apparently he's so busy he can't even do up his tie. Although he was only your GM for a short time till you were traded to the Islanders. Tell me a bit about Brian Burke and what he was like as a general manager and a person.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you read my book, The Comeback, My Journey Through Heaven and Hell, but in the book, I tell a story where I was walking by a restaurant that he was eating in, and him and Dave Nonis were eating in the restaurant, and it was after they traded me that year, and it was the summertime, and he runs out, or one of them ran out and said, "Hey, Scatch, come in here, let's have a quick bite or a beer or whatever." And I sat down, and he shared with me, "Hey, I loved you as a player. I didn't want to trade you. Mark Crawford is the one that was trying to get you out of here. But he goes, I think you're a great player, and I love the way you play, and I love your style. And, Berkey was always a pretty straight shooter. For me, he'd always tell me the truth. And sometimes it was okay. Like if you had to get an argument or something to prove your point or whatever, he wouldn't hold it personally against you. He would have a fair argument, at least with me. Right. And, sometimes you see things one way and a GM sees things the other way. And obviously you don't want to get into arguments or whatever, but sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. And I believe that Brian, at least his interactions with me, were fair. And I think they were honest. And as a player, I just want honesty. I just want my GM to be honest with me and tell me what's going on and where we are at and what they're thinking and what I'm thinking, and see if there's something, there. So yeah, I love Berkey. We're friends, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I'm lucky to play under a character like him.
By the way, I read on your website something from Jeremy Roenick. He said the following about you. Quote, "I've known Dave Scatchard now for almost 2 decades. I still have yet to see Dave have a negative attitude towards anything in his life. Laughter comes easy to him. Dave, I assume you learned this from Berkey, right?"
Jake, you're pretty funny. The funny thing about Berkey is he's got a very dry sense of humor, but he does appreciate humor, and he likes a good chuckle. He'll give you a good chuckle. If you can get Berkey to chuckle, you feel pretty good about yourself. But he does have a great sense of humor.
You also played out in Phoenix for 2 years with the Coyotes, and your head coach was none other than Wayne Gretzky, the great one. We all know Wayne as the best player of all time, and now we're starting to see Wayne as a broadcaster. But what was he like as a coach? Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, Wayne was my idol growing up. Especially when I was in Alberta, they won all those Stanley Cups. So I got to really watch him closely, and he was my idol. I loved him. I wanted to be like him. Obviously, I didn't quite play like him, but I tried. But when I found out that he'd get to be my coach, I was so honored. And I really think he's just a special human being. Wayne was always incredibly kind and nice to me, and always a good person. As far as the coaching goes, I felt like he was a good coach in some respects, and then in other respects, me personally, I just thought it would be like hard for somebody like him to coach some people, because it would be like having Picasso try to teach me and you how to paint. Like, we're not going to paint like Picasso. And Wayne was like a special human on the ice, and the way that he sees the game is different than the way that almost all humans see the game. So I think, it maybe it was probably hard for him. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I loved him as a person and all that. I don't really know as a coach, because I got hurt really bad with my 4th concussion in my 2nd year with Phoenix. So I never really got to experience it all and show him what I really could do. And I felt like part of me, wasn't playing as well as I could have for him. And part of him didn't know how to use me. He didn't know if I was a fighter or a scorer, or he wasn't sure either where to put me. And, that's nobody's fault. I guess if I just would have just been playing in amazingly incredible, it would be easy for him, but that wasn't the case. And I'm sad, because he was my idol. And I want to show him my stuff, and maybe I was trying a little too hard. I'm not sure, but I did get to practice with him. One practice in my book, I tell about it. And to have Wayne on my line feeding me passes, I can see how Jari Kurri could score all those hundreds of goals, because he always put the puck right where it was supposed to be, and flat, and he's the best player in the world. So,
wow. So looking at the NHL today, do you still follow the game closely? What teams do you follow and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting. Jake, in Phoenix, we don't have a lot of hockey on TV. Like, it's not like in Canada where you can turn 2 or 3 channels and see games. I had a really bad taste in my mouth when I left the game, just because all my friends were still playing and I couldn't play because of my injuries with my head. And for a while, I didn't even watch hockey. I didn't do much. My brain was really in a bad place after my injuries, and I didn't even really watch TV. I would just kind of, it's sad to say, but I'd just sit in the dark and hope my headaches would go away. And it didn't for like 2 or 3 years. Now I'm back involved with the game. I just did some stuff for Hockeyville with Kraft, and the Coyotes and the Dallas Stars in El Paso, Texas. That was really fun. I'm getting back involved. Shane Doan's kind of bringing us all back in with the Coyotes down here. So we're coming in and trying to support any way that we can. The Islanders have been fantastic with bringing us all back to the island. All the players that have ever played a game, we've got to go back 2 or 3 times now to Long Island, and they bring us to a game and wine us and dine us, and we have a little party, and everybody gets to see each other again. You get to see all your old teammates. So I think that's really cool. So yeah, I'm definitely, I watch every playoff game. I don't miss a playoff game. And I watch whenever I can find something on TV down here. So I love the game now. I think it's super fast. The Golden Knights are close by, so I like their team. I like watching the Islanders. I think they're going to be really good this year. There's a lot of fun teams to watch for sure.
Okay, Dave, right now on Jake's Takes, it's game time. We're playing some rapid fire. I'll ask you a bunch of short questions, and you answer them as quick as you can. Deal?
Deal.
Let's go. Who's faster, Connor McDavid or Pavel Bure?
I think Connor's faster. I think Bure had extreme explosiveness, but he kind of didn't have that like 6th or 7th gear that Connor McDavid seems to have. So I'm going to have to give the edge to McDavid. Funniest
teammate you ever played with?
Oh boy, I played with so many funny guys. Sean Bates, Adrian Aucoin. Yeah, all the guys are hilarious. That's what I miss the most.
What's more surprising to you? Authoring a best-selling book or the Buffalo Sabres currently sitting in 2nd place?
Authoring a best-selling book. That I didn't know if I'd ever finish the book. I didn't know if I'd ever get the book out. I didn't know if I'd ever be brave enough to share all these crazy stories that I share in the book. But I did it, and then people really liked it.
Who would you rather have, Jordan Eberle or Johnny Gaudreau?
Probably Gaudreau.
Hardest road arena to win a hockey game in?
That's a great question. Boston, you really, especially the old, well, I'm trying to think. Boston, it feels like they all want to kill you. Like they and the Rangers and the Islanders rivalries were insane as well. Both rinks were hard to play in for sure.
Describe President Joe Biden in one word.
I don't want to get in trouble, Jake. I'm gonna plead the 5th on that one. I'm not gonna say anything.
Best coach you ever had?
Mike Keenan.
Hardest slap shot in the NHL?
I played with Shea Weber a little bit in Nashville, and he could shoot the puck.
We got a winner! Dave Scatchard just put up a stunning performance. Did you get some all-star coaching to prepare this for you, Dave?
Of course I did. The all-star coaching solves everything.
All right, Dave, I have 2 more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. That good?
All right, let's do it.
So your career ended early due to some bad concussions, and you were really struggling until you found a new path that totally motivated you and changed your life. Currently, you're the founder and CEO of All-Star Coaching. Tell me about your program and what it's all about.
Yeah, we help people become stronger in every category of their life and their business. And whether or not somebody's rebuilding after something tough happened to them, like a pandemic or like a divorce or something traumatic in their life, or an injury for my athletes or a trade or something, we help people quickly turn that around and get back to becoming champion, becoming an all-star. And then I have another group of people that are already doing really, really well in life and playing really, really well if they're athletes. And they want to get more. They want to find another gear. So we kind of work with both ends of the spectrum. We've got the top end who's trying to make another $1 million or score another 10 goals. And then we've got the bottom end who's they know this isn't right. Something's not right. They've lost their swagger. That's not going in. Things aren't quite right. We can spin that around and get them back up playing or performing in their life or their business with their family or with their money or with their health. Whatever it is, I know it sounds kind of broad, but we're really good at what we do. And we use a lot of the energy that's around us to help with those transformations, along with tools and techniques that I've learned from traveling all over the world, learning from all these amazing teachers that I've got to learn from.
Wow, that's amazing. By the way, last question for you. This is a massive accomplishment that you should be really proud of. You recently authored a book called The Comeback, and it quickly became an Amazon bestseller, which is wild. Tell me a bit about the book and what motivated you to write it.
Well, as you can tell by the title, The Comeback, My Journey Through Heaven and Hell, there's a few different things about the comeback. There's comeback from my injuries, there's comeback from trades, there's comeback from trauma, there's comeback from my fourth concussion when I stopped playing for a year and a half. And then there's comeback from heaven when I met with God, and I talk about that in the book. I passed away, and it was a crazy experience. It was magical and beautiful. And then I realized I had 3 little kids at home, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And I knew I had to come back. I couldn't leave yet. And I asked God if I could come back. And he let me come back, and I made him 2 promises. I said, what do you want me to do when I come back? And he said, I want you to take this beautiful feeling that you have right now, and I want you to share it with everyone that you come across and love them like they're your brother or your sister. Like, Jake, you're my brother. That's why I'm on your podcast. We're bros, okay? And then the second part of that story was, he said, I want you to share this story with the world. And I did the first thing really easily. I came back and I just loved on people, and I tried to help them. But the second part, I had a difficult time sharing my story because I was kind of scared, and I had never written a book before, and I didn't know how to do it. And I just kept trying and trying and trying. And then, we eventually got it out there, and the people that have read it said that it's changed their lives. So I'm just really grateful to be able to keep my promise to God and to myself, and to be able to show up here and share it with people like you.
Wow, that's amazing. Dave, thanks for freeing up some time from your busy schedule and joining me today. I seriously loved having you on Jake's Takes. Did you enjoy your time with me today?
I think you're a rock star, buddy. Anything you ever need from me, let me know, okay?
Hope to stay in touch. Thanks, Dave.